I'm so grateful that Kirsten of 6 months ago, found the courage to hit publish on that first video on the internet about deprogramming AA. I was so scared. I think it's really important to do deconstruction work because if I hadn't been dissenting these past 6 months out loud on the internet, I wouldn't be where I am today. I feel like every month I'm a new person, every month that I've been deconstructing hardcore. And this is what's available for us, a whole new level of freedom, a new freedom and happiness or whatever the frick was in that. The promises of deprogramming AA are vast. You won't want to miss them. I feel it really deeply. My hope for anybody watching this who has been mind fucked by AA ideology or controlled by it like how I was is that you dive deep into the deprogramming AA world and you get free. There's a lot of freedom available to us. Hello and welcome to the Sobriety Bestie podcast. I am super excited today to make this video for you. It has been 6 months of dissenting, of deprogramming and deconstructing AA ideology out loud on the internet. So for reference, I got sober in 2009. I went to a month of rehab, and then I went into Alcoholics Anonymous the night I got out of rehab. I was in AA for 10 years, 10 and a half years, and I left AA on April 6th, 2020. Then 5 years later, on April 6th, 2025, this year, 6 months ago today, I decided it was time to speak my truth, to share about leaving AA on the internet. I was really scared to do this, petrified. Like I sweat so much before I hit post on that first video. I thought about it for a while. Honestly, I never thought I was going to talk about AA on the internet. And before that point, I hadn't. I had mentioned a couple of times 12-step this, 12-step that, just a few, a little bit, but I never ever explicitly said that I was in AA, let alone that I left AA, and I knew that it was going to cause a big splash. I knew that it was going to cause me to be shunned by AA friends that were on my Facebook page or whatever, and that happened, of course. We know that when we leave a cult or a cult religion like Alcoholics Anonymous, we can't really take a lot of people with us, or really anybody. People that I'm still friends with now from AA are people who have also left AA, but the people in AA mostly have either at first tried to control me and bring me back into AA, or have just completely moved on and shunned me and stayed in their vibe and moved on from me, which is fine. I get it. I totally get it. When somebody is dissenting or is talking critically or thinking logically about Alcoholics Anonymous, it can feel like a threat to those who are still inside of it. So yeah, I started 6 months ago. I finally, I felt like I was a volcano that was going to explode. I needed to talk about it and I didn't want to. I was scared. I didn't want to. There was many reasons why I didn't want to talk about it. And finally, it just felt like, you know what? I'm just going to use the momentum of my 5-year anniversary of leaving AA, my 5 years sober from AA date to just be honest. I felt I guess I kind of even felt constipated, vocally in a way, because I wasn't expressing my truth. I wasn't being super honest about a huge part of my life. It felt kind of like I was coming out of the closet or something to dissent. I never wanted to talk about AA, but it just felt like the right thing to do. And I wanted to make this video to talk about what it's been like to be dissenting for 6 months on the internet and what it's been like to be very actively deprogramming again for myself and my own journey. Because the first year that I left AA, the first 6 months really after leaving AA, I was in therapy. It took me months to remove the fear, the phobia that to leave is to die, right? If we're going to leave AA, we are brainwashed repeatedly all the time, at least in my experience, that it means that you're going to go to jails, institutions, or death. So I really believed all that hogwashery, all that baloney that to leave was to die. So there was a part of me that knew that I needed to leave, and then there was another part of me that didn't feel that it was safe to leave. So I hired a therapist, spoke to her every week, and she was glad to hear that I left AA because she also felt like it was baloney, like it wasn't reality and wasn't based on truth or science or anything modern. Obviously, it's 100 years old. And so she helped me remove these fears that I had around leaving AA. She helped me unpack some of it. So I was with her for this first 6 months of leaving. And then I studied addiction, really hardcore, and the nervous system and all that, the first year that I was leaving AA. And then I kind of just moved on with my life and thought I was all good. And then at my 5-year leaving AA anniversary, it had been building up months before that to talk about it. And finally, I just did. And so I want to share with you what I learned about that from actually opening my mouth on the internet and being really honest about a very hard topic to talk about, at least initially, because obviously it's going to come with a lot of backlash, a lot of haterade from the AA lovers and either people who are in AA themselves or who know people or who think they understand what AA is or what being in recovery means. I don't even believe in being in recovery anymore at this point. Yes, it's a phase, but it's not a lifetime thing. I'm not in recovery anymore. I'm abstinent. I haven't had a drink since 2009, September 29th, 2009. So it's been 16 years since I've had a drink of alcohol. Okay, so while I've been doing all these videos, because I thought I was good, the interesting part here is I felt like I was good. I had deprogrammed, I had removed like AA, I had gone to therapy, I had done the things, and I was good. That's kind of how I felt when I started dissenting 6 months ago. But more was revealed, as they say in the cult religion of Alcoholics Anonymous, and there was a lot more for me, a lot more evolution for me, and there probably still is. But I feel like now at this point, I've done like the brunt of my deprogramming work. I did a lot of it in the beginning, and I did a lot of it the past 6 months. So the past 6 months, what I have gone through, which I think is a great thing to go through if you want to get AA out of your head and move into freedom and to being yourself and not being ruled by Bill's ideas or the cult religion ideas. So for me, it was important to go through various different, I guess, categories of things or topics of things to look at. And I did that with you. If you were on this channel with me or with you, the invitation is now if you would like to go through the work that I did on that. Um, it's actually been 123 videos I made or 123 podcasts on deprogramming Alcoholics Anonymous. So I'd already started a podcast like before I was dissenting. And so the first 16 episodes are not about leaving AA, but starting from episode 17 through this right here is episode 140. It's all about deprogramming AA. So 123 videos. It's a lot of content. I feel like it's a really good library, a really good resource for anybody who wants to deprogram. There are ways that you can go through this if that's where you're at in your journey. I'm going to show you what that could look like if you want like a roadmap of how to go through deprogramming. And I'm going to tell you what I've really learned as I go through this roadmap. So let's dive in. Okay, so going to my YouTube, Sobriety Best to YouTube, I have playlists over here. If you are new to deprogramming, what was really helpful for me in the beginning and one of the first playlists I made was AA Mind Control. So this is where we look at Dr. Robert J. Lipton's 8 criteria for thought reform. So the playlist inside of it, it's called like 8 signs AA is controlling your mind. And we go through like milieu control, mystical manipulation, all the way down. So these were really helpful for me to help to start to frame Alcoholics Anonymous as a cult or as a high control group, and to understand how I had been manipulated by AA on a deeper, more formal level by looking at these techniques for thought control. So if you haven't gone through that, give it a go. I'll post up here the link to that playlist. It's a great place to start. The next playlist that I would recommend going through is AA is a cult. So let's click on this bad boy. When I made this video, I didn't think AA was a cult yet when I started dissenting. So you'll see that 5 months ago, I was convinced that AA was a high control group, but I wasn't convinced it was a cult yet. More was revealed. I did more research. And then I made a series called, Yes, Alcoholics Anonymous is a Cult, Part 1, 2, 3, and 4. And in that series, I go through the International Cultic Studies Association, their criteria. I think it's 15 different cult characteristics, and I compare each one to AA in detail. And by the a result of doing this research and this deep dive with you here on Sobriety Bestie podcast, I came to the conclusion for me that yes, AA is a cult. Now, I don't think it's important to come to this conclusion. It was for me because understanding it as a cult helped me be more motivated to look in the cult literature for how to recover from cult stuff and to just dig more in and understand it. Yeah, I'd been manipulated pretty severely because that's what AA is. And that I'd turned around and done the same to others through sponsorship or sharing in the meetings or carrying the message, practicing the principles in all of my affairs. So this playlist is great, is, part 1 through 4 of AA is a Cult, and after that, I would say this also was really helpful. We did a deep dive here on the cult religion origins of Alcoholics Anonymous. For me, this was another game changer because it really made it clear to me that AA lies about its origins, or it's misleading if you wanna use a kinder word, but let's just be fucking honest here. AA deliberately lies about how it started, and understanding the roots of Alcoholics Anonymous helped me really understand that it was, I guess, nefarious from the start. It was a scam from the start because it started off as the Oxford group for the first 2.5 years. There was no AA. They pretend that their founder's day is June 10th, 1935, Dr. Bob's sobriety birthday. But actually, AA started more around the end of 1937 after Bill left the Oxford group and took the Oxford group with him and then rebranded it AA, or it started in 1938, depending upon what you look at, right? And then the big book came out. Then they wrote a book, and that came out in 1939. So Cult Religion Part 1 through 6 was really enlightening for me to do that research and create that playlist. I think that's definitely worth watching if you're unfamiliar with AA history. I'm not disclaimer alert, I am not an AA history buff. I kind of, at this point, don't give a fuck about AA's history anymore, but it was really helpful in my own deconstructing to go through this process to look at it. I'm sure if I looked deeper and longer, I could be even more accurate and find even more nuances or fallacies or lies or whatever. I got a big book, like a big book, a thick book called The Writing of, I think it's called The Writing of the AA Big Book. And I started to read that. And then I just like lost interest. I thought, you know what? There's better things I can be doing with my time than studying AA history so intensely. But this playlist is a great go. And then we did this one comparing AA to Scientology because people kept saying AA is not like Scientology. I'm like, but maybe it is, and let's look at that. Then another playlist that I recommend going through if you haven't seen it already is AA Culty Comments. There's a lot of them here. We really ripped it up on Culty Comments. 28 videos here so far. I might still add to these playlists over time, but there are 28 different examples here of people who left what I would feel as pretty culty comments that were coming from the AA ideology that contain one or more mythologies of AA that we deconstruct, pull apart how what they're saying is not accurate or scientifically validated or just based on reality at all, and how deconstructing each of those common things that an AAer would say, or somebody who's inside the AA ideology, those also I feel like are a total vibe because yeah, these are the common kind of things that we might hear from somebody who's in AA. Like if you are in the process of leaving, or if you've just left and you're still interacting with people in AA, and there's going to be common things that they'll say to you, right? And so we covered a lot or most of those common things that AAers say, like it can't be a cult, there's no leader, or yeah, the truth about I am an alcoholic. So I think that's really a vibe. That was really fun to go through that process. Another playlist that I think is a super vibe is the Leaving AA Conversations. So here is interviewing just different people or having conversations with them about what leaving AA was like for them. So yeah, these are probably are the most fun really to go through it. And we have some AA dissenters on here, like you'll see Burn the Stigmas on here. You'll see Monica Richardson's on here, the filmmaker of the 13th Step film. We have Bobby C. from the Anonymous Addiction Deprogramming podcast, and Charlie Sheen, because he is dissenting in his own book. And then Quackaholics Anonymous. So those conversations have been fun. I'll still continue to have some of those conversations. I think those are really worthwhile to highlight and share other people's stories about leaving AA because it can be quite difficult, as I'm sure you know if you're here, right? This playlist was interesting, grieving AA. So we went through, a lot of us have a lot of grief when we leave AA. So we went through and we did the 5 phases of grieving. And then the last video, the part 6 in the series, was writing a letter. So if you are going through a lot of grief because you feel like you're in the middle of that identity loss, you've losing your community, your spirituality or religion, your AA religion. There's a lot that we, go through when we leave AA. There's a tremendous amount of grief. It was very difficult time for me. Obviously, that's part of my inspiration to make this content. And so I feel like that was really fun. Plus, I had done a training a while back called the Grief Recovery Method, a several-day training. It was an Australian facilitator or teacher. She came out to Bali and we did it there. So that was really cool. And I share some of what I know about grieving in that. We could go to addiction science. We have AA propaganda, which is interesting. The AA alternatives playlist has been great because there's a lot of people who are deprogramming AA while they're still wanting to be in recovery or they're still getting sober. And so we start off with the advice I would give my former self, and then we go cover smart recovery, Sinclair method, rational recovery, Dharma recovery, Alan Carr's. Yeah, there's just different methodologies in here if you're looking to get sober. Although getting sober is not what this channel is about, I thought I'd make some videos just to support the folks who are in that situation. Deprogramming books, I love to read. I know a lot of you, maybe you specifically, love to read. So there's been a lot of great recommendations. I love getting the recommendations and the feedback in the comments. So the first couple ones here are about deconstructing, the big book, Deconstruction. Then we have Cure for Alcoholism, that's Sinclair method, and just different books that I've read. Some of these books have been in our Deprogram book club. We actually have our Deprogram book club is now on the third Saturday of the month. And this month, October 2025, we are reading Biology of Desire, which I have around here somewhere. It is a great book. I just finished it this morning. It is Biology of Desire by Why Addiction is Not a Disease by Mark Lewis, PhD. It was a great read. I did skip through some of the middle part because he does go into detail about there's different case studies about people. And I'm just where I feel at now in my life is I'm kind of over the drugalogs and the drunkalogs. I did my time. I served a decade in AA. So I'm kind of not really interested in hearing people's like intense drinking and drugging stories. I've met my quota for life. I'm good. I'm good. So I really skimmed through those so it went a little faster. But there's a lot of really good science in the beginning and throughout it. So I took a lot of notes. And so yeah, if you are interested in deprogramming in community, I have launched something called the Deprogram Lounge. That's where we have our Deprogram book clubs. Last month we read Rational Recovery. The month before that we read The Freedom Model. Then we also have Deprogram Zooms. So now we're doing our Deprogram Zooms where we all get together and vibe. And that is the first Saturday of the month. And then the book club is the third Saturday of the month. So that's been super fun. So yeah, the first 90 days of Dissenting, I did a 90 and 90, if you will. I did a podcast every day, a video every day for here on YouTube and on Sobriety Bestie podcast. And that was really fun to be very active in that. I grew tremendously and evolved a lot. I know I've seen in the comments that some of you also got a lot of value out of that and grew and evolved with me or are currently finding me and growing and evolving, and that's great. I really just at my core feel that we deserve better. We've been fucked with for a while, it's not fair. I feel like we've been misled or even gaslit depending upon I guess, the knowledge level of whoever's doing the AA is the way propaganda campaign. And so I just feel like we deserve better. It's 2025. It's almost 2026 at this point. And I just feel like we struggled with addiction. Addiction almost killed some of us, right? I know it almost killed me. And we've suffered enough. And enough is a freaking enough. Let's just get free. Team freedom up in here. And yeah, I'm over the bullshit. I'm over the lies. And so yeah, doing 90 and 90 was helpful, making all that content. It really grew me a lot as a human. I read a lot of books, did a lot of research to do that. I heard a lot from you. I learned so much from the comments. So I really appreciate you for leaving comments if you did, anybody else who left comments, because I got to really interact with people and feels like my channel became like a collaborative kind of a place where people were leaving their feedback, their recommendations, and we were growing together very rapidly during those 90 and 90 days. And then after 3 months, I switched it and I went to 3 podcasts a week. And that's also been very, liberating because I'm still deep in the research, deep learning. I'm super interested in the topic of addiction, of thriving in general. And yeah, the past 3 months, there's been a lot of deprogramming content as well. I mean, all of it's been deprogramming AA content or deconstructing AA. And doing the 3 podcasts a week has been very helpful to leverage some of my time. And so that's enabled me to launch the Deprogram Lounge, my free group where we have the Deprogram Zooms, we have the Deprogram Book Club. There's a lot of people in there now. There's great conversations. It's all on an app. It is totally free. I'll put the link below if you want to come into the Deprogram Lounge. I plan on continuing to run that. It's been super wonderful to like meet so many of you and to hear your stories and to vibe with you and to read some good books together and to keep getting free together and evolve together. And so this feels like another milestone for me, 6 months of dissenting. And so going forward, I'm going to be switching things up again. Honestly, at this point, I feel pretty good on the deconstructing AA topic. I'm not done creating content on it, but I feel pretty good, meaning that we've covered a lot. I showed you all the playlists on YouTube. And by the way, if you want a more streamlined way to go through deconstructing Alcoholics Anonymous or deconstructing deprogramming 12 step at all, if you go inside the Deprogram Lounge, my free group, linked below, right? There is something called the Escape Kit. I've curated all of the deprogramming content from YouTube into what looks like and feels like an online course format. So it's totally streamlined. It's categorized. There's extra downloadable things. It makes it like a one-stop shop to go through, and you can do it on your phone, like on an app. And yeah, you can just dive right into the content. If you want to go further, I have a course. It is an online course. This is a paid option. It is called the Deprogram course or just Deprogram. So I'll link that below as well. That one takes you not just through deprogramming AA, but it's a full journey, like start to finish. So it goes through deconstructing AA, then it goes through reconstructing your life. So rebuilding your life after AA. That one is more comprehensive than the free content because it comes with guided audio experiences, workbooks, checklists, guides, downloadables, and it's a full-on online course, right? It's like 8 hours total, all the video content plus all the workbooks. It's 8 modules. It's super comprehensive. My students are loving it and vibing it. So that's always an option too if you want to go further. So I feel like having done all that, it's been fun, illuminating, liberating, and I'm all about freedom if you haven't noticed. Probably like everything I create online, it's with the seed of or coming from the seed of freedom. And so, yeah, I feel pretty good on I feel pretty free from AA, and I feel like the next step in freedom from Alcoholics Anonymous for myself, and maybe this is where you're at right now, is like moving the fuck on, like not needing to talk about it all the time, not needing to create content on it all the time. I still want to have guests on my podcast and share stories of deconstructing AA. I still want to do some more research and read more books about things. Like I really love this Biology of Desire book and other books about addiction and other perspectives on addiction. So I'm not done with the content, but I want to move more into the reconstruction area because I think that's also really important. Part of leaving AA is rebuilding everything. So in between the deconstructing AA, remember there's like 123 videos, there's a community, there's a book club, there's the Zooms, there's the online course, there's a lot there. There's a lot of freedom there. And then I feel like the next couple of steps, the next phase that we're going to go through on this channel is in critical thinking and developing our critical thinking skills. So for the next couple of months, I'm going to be focusing on critical thinking content and building up your critical thinking after having been in a cult religion like Alcoholics Anonymous, but it's going to be critical thinking in general. That's going to be super fun and exciting. I'm also going to be launching a paid group. It is a membership where we're going to be going even deeper on these topics of critical thinking and reconstructing your life. And so that'll be an ongoing annual membership. If you wanted to come, we'll have group coaching, we'll have workshops and a community space. So we'll go a lot deeper on that. That's going to be, I'm actually really excited about that. So if you want to know more about the membership, I'll link that below when it is ready and available. So that's really cool. And yeah, so on YouTube, I'm going to be switching now for the next foreseeable time to consistently doing one video a week. It's going to drop on Sundays. So that's going to be the new schedule. And that's the consistent part of it. But and that's going to be critical thinking. So there'll be one critical thinking video every Sunday for the next couple of months. And then we'll move into reconstructing and all the reconstructing things. It's super exciting. I have like this really fun, like clear vision of where I want to take us, where I want to take me and whoever wants to come along and evolve on this journey with me by watching the videos, by commenting. Remember, the comments are also probably more valuable than what I say because it's everybody's minds coming together, and I think that all the minds are more powerful than just what I can say, right? But I plan on still going deep. In fact, I've just ordered a crap load of books that I had created like a whole syllabus for myself of what I'm going to be reading throughout. That's why I had to finish The Biology of Desire today because I have like two more books that I need to read this week in order to like make all the stuff that I want to make and just be really educated, understand the field more. So I'm really excited about my own continuing evolution along with you. And yeah, so then there's going to be one video every Sunday. That's gonna be my regular routine. And then I'm gonna add in spontaneous videos as they are relevant. Like if I want to throw in a book report, like I probably will do a book report on Biology of Desire, whether or not you're in the book club. And by the way, if you come to the Deprogram book club, you don't need to read the book. You can just vibe. It's basically a Zoom of people who are deprogramming and getting AA ideology out of their head. So I'll probably do like, book reviews because I'm going to be reading a lot of books and I want to share them with you. I'll probably be doing more interviews. So there'll be more spontaneously or like as they are made videos that will be posted, but the consistent schedule will be dropping videos on Sundays. That feels really good to me. That also helps me leverage a bit of my time so that I can go deeper in the research and make the videos more robust. I feel like this journey out of AA, the first major part of it is the deconstruction. And then it's developing the skills, right? The skills of self-trust and getting better at that, the skills of critical thinking and getting better at that. And then moving into the reconstruction stuff, which is like creating your vision for life and developing community outside of Alcoholics Anonymous and rebuilding all the areas that you either sacrificed in AA or rebuilding the areas in your mind, in your emotions, in your life, in your external world that were um, I don't know, sometimes I feel like beaten down, beaten out of us. Like a lot of us, our self-esteem was beaten out of us in AA, having to give our authority over to a sponsor, a higher power, and a group, and all of that. So it's the rebuilding phase, which is what I'm super excited about. So the deconstruction is super important. And the reason why I highlight that and I'm going through this whole video with you is because I felt like I was good after 6 months of therapy of leaving AA. And then I still studied addiction hardcore. I'm like a nerd at heart, if you haven't noticed. I love taking all of the online courses and reading all of the books. That's how I've always been my entire life. I love to learn. I literally created a syllabus for myself of all the books that I'm going to read and all the topics and all the angles that I want to talk about. So buckle up. It's going to be a great couple of months here on the podcast. And yeah, I'm really excited about it. And also in the membership, if you're feeling to go a little bit deeper and you want to join that as well. So I'm really excited about all that. Even though I had done all that deprogramming when I first left AA, the past 6 months, I have grown tremendously. As I know, I've read that a lot of people in the comments have also grown tremendously from the deconstructing content as a result of watching it and reading the comments, really, quite frankly, hearing what everybody else thinks is like super liberating and freeing. Self-trust is a vibe. So we'll know when it's time to move on from deprogramming. But anybody who finds me in the future from this, so today is October 6th, 2025, 6 months after I started dissenting, and 5.5 years after I left Alcoholics Anonymous today, I'll probably not count it anymore because even this whole counting time thing just feels it's like giving AA sober time vibes. And if y'all saw the video I posted last week about deconstructing sober time and sober birthdays, I'll put it up here. It was my 16-year sober birthday last week, September 29th. And I just feel like even just counting time and all of that, I don't know. I just want to get all of the AA way of thinking out of my life. I feel like it mostly is, but yeah, there's still areas that I'm noticing. I'm like, okay, that's like AA vibes. Like what actually feels true to me? Can I just be a human again? So yeah, so these past 6 months of deconstructing, like creating the deconstructing content and dissenting out loud with you and vibing with everybody in the comments and reading. I try to read all the comments. I don't get to all of them. Sometimes I don't even get notifications and I miss comments. If I go to an old video, I'll see there's a lot more comments that I never saw. But reading through them, it really gives me an idea of what's in people's minds. And I like it that we all have our own perspectives and that there isn't like one person is right. We're all growing and hopefully changing our minds as we are presented with new information, right? No contempt prior to investigation. and no believing prior to investigation. It's about investigation. Like, what the fuck do I actually think when I think for myself? That's the vibes. That's my vibes, at least. That's what I want. Um, so yeah, so I've grown so much in the past 6 months from doing this stuff. I know a lot of you have as well. My suggestion. No, like, what I think is really important to say, like, all jokes aside, is I really think this work is important. That's been my experience. You just need to take one scroll through the comments and see that I'm not alone in that there's a lot of baloney that we can get out of our heads, and it's worth shoveling through the baloney to coming back to our true selves and to thriving in our life. So I really have loved being on this journey. It's not over. We're just shifting gears a little bit because I really want to go deep into critical thinking. I want to become a better critical thinker. I just took an online course on rationality and no, on skepticism, and that was like super amazing. So I'm super excited about developing my own critical thinking skills to the next level and beyond. So if that's something that interests you, definitely let me know in the comments what stood out for you in this video, what you're looking forward to, and if you are interested in being a deeper critical thinker, because that's where we're going for the next couple of months. There will be more deprogramming, as I said, and then we're going to be moving into reconstruction, like especially like next year, 2026, which I'm really excited about. It just feels like a very clear roadmap to me of like where I'm going in my own evolution, and you are invited to come and keep getting free with me and to yeah, to thrive together. So I can't wait to hear from you in the comments. And this has just been so fun. It's been I'm so grateful that Kirsten of 6 months ago like found the courage to hit oh gosh, hit publish on that first video on the internet about deprogramming AA. I was so scared, and I was like, if you go back and watch it, it's like I why I left Alcoholics Anonymous after 10 years, that video. And yeah, I was so scared and timid in that video, and I didn't even know AA was a cult yet. Again, because I knew AA was a cult religion when I first got there, but AA convinced me that they weren't a cult, but we need the brainwashing, and they're not a religion, it's spirituality, but it is entirely a path to God, which means it's a fucking religion. So yeah, I'm proud of myself for doing the work. It wasn't always easy. I'm proud of you for doing the work. It is not easy. Leaving AA is one of the most difficult things I've ever done in my entire life. It's why I'm devoting so much of my time now to getting it out of my head, because I just want to move on. I want to be done. And yeah, I think a big part of moving on from AA is to get to the point where we're not even talking about AA. We go in, we deprogram it, we recover from recovery, and then we're just a humaning. There is no forever recovery. No forever recovery from alcohol addiction. No forever recovery from Alcoholics Anonymous. Not recovery forever. Recovery is a phase. It's a temporary like time. It's a cast you wear on your broken bone, and then you take the cast off, and then you hobble wobble. Maybe you have crutches, and then you just walk, and you might have a limp, but you're good. You are good. If there is anything, because hearing from you is really helpful for me and the rest of us. So if you have any thoughts of any content that I have missed on the topic of deconstructing AA specifically, I don't mean reconstructing, I mean deconstructing, tearing down the bullshit, the bill shit, the bill shittery. If you have any ideas on deconstructing AA content that I haven't made yet that would make this library we have going here an even better resource for you, for future people who find this channel, for current subscribers, or even for me, let me know. I'm always open to improvement, learning, and making this content better. So if there's anything I left out that I haven't covered, let me know, and I'll consider making a video on it. So there will still be deprogramming stuff, but there's also going to be moving the fuck on stuff. So I feel very excited about this. Let me know what you think about these changes. Changes. I mean, it's fall, the seasons are changing, the vibes are changing, and we're getting more forward facing. It's great to look at the past and clean it up and to get it out of our head and to move on and to wash our hands of it. And then it's good to also move forward. So that's where we're going. Forward-facing courage vibes. All right, enough out of me. I can't wait to hear from you in the comments. And I'll also link the playlist below. I'll link the free group below. I'll also link the Deprogram course below, so you can check out all the things. There's literally so much. So don't worry. Don't be overwhelmed. if you are brand new to the deprogramming stuff and you want to know where to start, I really recommend going to the free group, the Deprogram Lounge. It's an app, and go to the escape kit, and you can just go in order. It literally looks like an online course, has like modules and lessons, which is just the YouTube videos organized in a very thoughtful and great journey. That's really going to get you started and get you through most of it. All right. This has been so fun. And yeah, new vibes, new fresh vibes here. So channel is evolving. I'm evolving. You're evolving. Let's keep getting free. Day freedom. I'll see you in the comments. Okay. Bye.